So picking up from here, we're talking about the strategies, the basically key strategy of solving all of these. I showed a parity-free AI solve of the 4x4, and you can do all the rest like that, but it gets more and more cumbersome as you go up the food chain, as it were, to the point where you find yourself doing AI after AI after AI. So I think it's worthy to do a slightly different kind of a solve, which at the lower levels might not be that much faster, but at the higher levels it's a lot less cumbersome. So if we start off once again with our key puzzle here, which is the 3x4x4, we're going to compare this to the 3x3x4. So we're going to compare the 3x4x4 to a 3x3x4 iCube, I variations, the floppy versus the non-floppy. So the main difference that jumps right out is the fact that this actually came from a 4x4 base cube and this came from a 3x3 base cube. So to be honest with you, the real comparison may actually be a 4x4 I base cube. And to see how that measures up with this, that the 4x4x5 shares more homologies with this. But the fact of the matter is, this is managed down to a 3x3, this is managed down to a 4x4, and this is managed down to a 2x2. So they're really very different kinds of puzzles. But the way that we would start off with this is we'd start off just with a 3x3 solve. This would be a reduction to a 3x3, but a 3x3 solve. Let's take one more look at this all scrambled. There's something almost artistic about seeing these things scrambled up like that. Anyway, so a simple 3x3 solve with this guy. Okay, so that leaves the baseline 3x3 is solved, and now all of these extended layers can now move. But they have to be coordinated. So really the whole concept of an iCube and where the challenge comes from is coordinating the top layer with the bottom layer. So we see that there's a standard cuboid element to this. You've got two corners that are in, and a corner swap would be fine, except in order to do all that, you need to have a bottom layer to scramble it against, and you don't. So because of that, you just have to correlate this layer with the layer over here. So to coordinate this, what I'm going to want to do is put these corners in sync with the corners over here. So to do that, I have to have not just one in, but just one in on the layer below that instead of all of them in. So the way that I'm going to do that is when I put this in front of me and do a corner swap, then that'll make this top layer only have one in. It won't be this one, it'll be something else, but then it'll only put one in over here. So that's 2R U, 2R UI, 2R UID, 2R UI, 2R U, 2R. This turns back. So I see these two are in, it's the only one. There's only one here. These two. 2R U, 2I, turn, turn. 2R UI, 2R U, 2R. This is turned back. So now we've got all the corners in, but now I've got to coordinate these guys. So I'm going to do edge swaps, but I'm going to swap edges here too. What I don't want to do is I don't want to do opposite edge swaps because I can't coordinate both at the same time. So this is in, I'm going to take this and put this to here. So that way it'll be next to it. 2R U, 2R U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R U, 2R UI, 2R. All right, misplacement over here. I have these two out, put these over here, and it'll fix everything. 2RU, 2RU, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2RU, 2R, UI, 2R, and that's done. So really, it added that little bit extra of an effort. This is really no difference. The only thing that you do is you solve it as a 4x4, which means we have to reduce the centers, and then we have to reduce the edges. We just have a little step in between to do as well with cuboid strategy. So fun solve, but how would this differ? So the very first step that's different is, of course, that we have to solve this like a 2x2. So we're bandaged with everything but a 2x2, so that's how I'm going to start off. A 2x2 solve is corners only, so I'm going to ignore all these other areas here. And I'm not going to do an AI solve, so we're going to start off with the white. So here's white, blue, and orange. Here's a white and orange over here. So we're just going to move this corner into place. Turn, turn, and turn. These corners are good. The next white corner here is going to be white and green, which is this guy right here. Turn, turn, and up. And the final white corner is here. We just have to organize this correctly. Turn, turn, and turn. So it starts so simply. So here you have all these over here. Turn it upside down, and now I'm going to have to first off permute all the rest of the yellows. I've got these two up, these two down, so I'm just going to go R-I-D-I, R-D, and I'm going to keep doing that until they're where they need to be. R-I-D-I, R-D, R-I-D-I, R-D. Okay, as I continue my two-layer solve, these two are in, so I'm going to do a corner swap, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, turn the puzzle, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. So the 2x2 solve, just put these in, is now done. So this to me is the fun part of any floppy, especially with any floppy iCube, is because this is the part that doesn't really take algorithms. It takes setups, it takes positioning. So there's no way to give you definitive ways of getting around it, but just sort of showing what the overall goal is. The goal is to try to take away the bandage, so I'm going to try to do a layer by layer. With the floppy iCubes, after doing the base cube solve, is to start to layer by layer, so I'm going to try to get all the white ones up here. To get these in, I would love to be able to put the proper red ones here, but sometimes I don't have that opportunity. So as long as I can take these and move them up here, you can see that I don't have much freed up. I've got this freed up over here. So I can try to maybe put some edges in this way. So we're not freed up here, not so long as this is here. And this isn't going to be freed up so long as this is here. So I'm going to move this to here. So I can take these two edges and I can pop them up over here. Now they're not where they should be, but at least they're out of the way from any bandaging that might happen. So what I'm going to do, because I've got too many things at right angles, is I'm going to take this, move it up over here to line this up to this side, move it into this side, and move this down. So it's up here and out of the way from bandaging, so I can slowly but surely try to move some of these in. Now I can't move this yet until I can move this up, but I'm going to continue to be bandaged as long as I have to deal with this. So I'm going to do the same kind of thing. Can I move this and turn it into a place like over here, and then turn this down. All right, so now I'm able to move this across over here as I'm slowly pointing things up. Now what's more, I've got these up and I freed up this layer and this layer, so I can Red Bull these down. 2R, 2B, 2U, L, 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, LI, 2B, 2R. Now bear in mind, this isn't as much of a tutorial as a demonstration. That's why I'm moving through this kind of fast. So now I'm freeing things up a little bit more so I can be a little bit more cautious with where I put things. I want this green edge to come over to here. So I'll bat this out of the way. And where can it go? Well, I don't want it to go here, so I'm going to turn it down here and replace this edge if I can. Move it here, and bang. So now this is in. So this orange I want to put over here. So move this down, bring it in, and I can't move it up unless I do something different. I got to move it 2 out of the way. So bring this down, move it 2 in to get this further away from that, and bring it up. So now this guy is going to go where the purple or the blue is supposed to be, which is here. Move it 2 away, and up it goes. And now this red one is going to end up here. Move it 2 away, and same thing. Leaving open. Oh, okay, so I'm going to take this out from where it doesn't belong, and I'd like to put it in here. Move this red one down, bring it up, bring it in, and all is right with the world. Turn and up. So there it is. This is here. Now to place, to place these centers, it's simply going to be my sliding U technique, which means I'm going to move this over to here, move this up in my R position, my R move, swing it to the L, move the L up, swing the U back to the R, move the R down, swing it back to the L, move the L down. And there that is. Again, we've moved beyond algorithms. Now this needs to come into here, position it to where it can pop into place, 2R, swing the U to the L, 2L, swing the U to the R, 2R, swing it, 2L. So there is our first layer. So the aspect of what to do next is to get these in. So the very next step to move these guys in, since we're done with our 2x2 solve, and notice we haven't destroyed our 2x2 solve as of yet, is I need to get the proper edges here. The proper edges are going to be yellow, but what about this? Well, the way to get this down here is to do a commutator that I've done by layer techniques. Here I have no choice but to do it. I'm going to line this up to where it's closest to the color that has to come up here, in this case the yellow. I'm going to hold it here, and I more visualize it than memorize it, but basically if this is a U technique, what this is going to do is this will exchange to here, this will come here, and this will pop this out to here, thus popping this out and putting this in. And the way that this is going to work is I do a U, then I move an LI with this middle layer, then I move it up to a D, then I do a 2R, DI, move this R back up rather to an R, then I do another D, 2R, DI, and move this back with a UI. So that served the function. Now we just have these guys to put in. So this has to come up. This is closest to here, so same algorithm. U, R, I, D, 2R, DI, R, middle R rather, D, 2R, DI, and U. So I should just have one left, and it's this. This one doesn't belong. I put it closest to the one it wants to exchange with. It won't exchange on this side, so I turn it to the opposite side, and I just do the opposite algorithm. Instead, now this is going to be a UI, an L, DI, 2L, D, L, DI, 2L, D, and this moves back to a U. So now all these are in. The next step that I do is, now that I have these, eventually we're going to correlate it with these corners over here. So do I get these in now? Well, not quite yet, because I'm going to have to move these into place. Right now, these are all upside down, and these can easily all be red bold back right side up. To R, to B, to U, L, to up, RI, to up, R, to up, to F, R, to F, Li, to B, to R. So that's up. Just going to do the same thing with all of these. To up, Ri, to up, R, to up, to F, R, to F, Li, to B, to R. Now it didn't have to be this way, this is how it turned out with this particular scramble. To up, Ri, to up, R, to up, to F, R, to F, Li, to B, to R. So now these are all up. Now that they are, I want to put all these together. So these two are in, these two are not. Very simple exchange. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, turn, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. Nothing's more simple than a domino solve. These are in, and now what I can do is I can start coordinating these edges with these. I need 2 in, and I don't see 2 corners in, which means I'm going to put this in front of me so that I always keep only 2 corners in, but not all of them. So do a corner swap, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, turn the puzzle, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. So now there should be 2 right here, to match with these two. Another corner swap. To R, UI, to R, U, to R. Now we got a little too lucky with this. There is zero parity with this. That almost never happens, but there it is. Anyway, so now all these are in. Now it's just a matter of placing the centers, but I can start to line these up. So we're going to swap these two. To R, U, to R, U, to R, to U, to R, to U, to R, U, to R, UI, to R. Now notice I'm not worried about these at all. That's going to be placed manually. To R, UI, to R. Okay? So now these are easily placed with a swinging U technique. This comes to here. Bring it in with a R, swing the U to the L position, bring it down with the L, swing it to the R, and back. All right, now very quickly here. So as I'm doing this and as I'm finishing up, ask yourself the question, which one was easier? Which strategy is more cumbersome? Now, granted, we got a little too lucky with this. You saw no parity. Usually when I do this, I get floppy parities everywhere, and that takes a bunch of Red Bulls to solve. We didn't see that this time. The fates decided in this tutorial to just not show it. But, take my word for it, mostly it happens. And when it does, you can get awfully tired of doing all those Red Bulls to bring it in, which makes you maybe want to do the AI solve. And it's done. Now the problem with doing the AI solve is it gets much more cumbersome with these. So to start off with all of these is once again we start off with a baseline cube solve. So this is a 1, 2, 3. There's no reduction that happens with this, just like there is no reduction with this. So we start off with a 3x3 solve. And that's what we would do. So I'm going to start off with a white one here, put my edges in, bring this up. So no actual cubic reduction is done with this, even though the base cube was not a 3x3. Move this up, and I'll put the corners in. This is just a variation of RIDIRD. And doing it this way makes you very grateful that you don't have to do an odd layer AI solve. It's much more cumbersome. Red, green, turn, turn, turn. And bring this into here so corners are now in. Edges, middle edges rather. So unlike this, we have a middle layer that we actually work with. And this middle layer, and I've actually freed this side up here too. So understand this is the middle layer here, not this. And that's just because in our base 5x5, this was our middle 5x5. Okay, so line it up with the red. This comes down to here. That goes here. Just popping these edges in place to see where we're at. This will come down to here. Turn, 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 turn. I'm just looking for all the non-yellows. Turn, 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 and turn. Good, 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 and good. Now the last layer, these are, I've got the L formation over here, FRU, RI, UI, FI, and once more real quickly. So now these are oriented correctly. And then from there, we just put the corners in. Well, we have to make sure that these are lined up right. This is good. This is not good. This is not good. Good, good, not good. R, U, RI, U, R, to U, RI. Okay, corners. This corner is good. This one is not. Therefore, all the rest are not. Do my corner turning algorithm. Oh, before I do that, even though, well, so this is in and this is not in, so therefore the rest aren't either. Turn, 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 and turn. Okay, these are in, which means these guys are in, so we just RIDIRD them into position. Again, I'm moving fast through this because it is a 3x3 solve. And I assume knowledge of that. Now when I say you can do the 3x3 of your choice, it means truly you can do it of your choice. So now we have the familiar situation where it's the same kind of thing. We have to deal with these guys here after doing the baseline cube solve. But before I do that, and before embarking on the same thing that we did here, if we were to try this one, this is bandaged to a 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is bandaged to a 4x4. This was 5x6x6. Baseline cube is a 6x6, so we're bandaged down to a 4x4. So what I'm going to do is simply a 4x4 reduction. And that's going to start off with placing centers. So let's say I arbitrarily pick the white one to be, well, anywhere, say over here. So I am going to find this, the other white center, and bring it in. So even though this is the baseline cube was a 6x6 and this has become a 5x6x6, I'm solving it like a cube that it never was, which is a 4x4, but it's at the lowest base parity of that puzzle. In this case, it's an even parity, so it's a 4x4. Put the orange one, rather the yellow one in here. And as I'm doing this, you're going to find that I'm freeing up sides more and more. Move this into here, down, turn, and up. So these are okay. So I'm continuing my center journey. Move this here, might as well put the red one in since it's the easiest for me to find. Splat. Okay, what goes right next to red? Well, I can find that out by putting a corner in place. Wait, corner, if this is red, this is blue. So I'm just going to put my blues in. So simple reduction, which I'm going through. Opposite blue here is going to be green. Turn, turn, and turn. Turn, turn, and turn. And we're good with centers. Now just edge reduction. Edge reduction, here's the blue. Well, the thing about edge reduction on a 4x4 is it's just simple enough to not be cumbersome. So it's pretty quick how you can do your edge reduction over here. So any one of these will do. I've got the orange and white one here. So orange and white comes down, turn, 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 and up. Down, turn, 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 and bang. So now this has been taken down to a 3x3. So that just leaves us with a 3x3 solve, simple 3x3 solve. So we can do that quickly, although me solving a 3x3 has never been called quickly before. Turn, 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 turn. I hope nobody's timing me. That's just embarrassing. And turn. So we've got this in. And turn. And up. Now this is the last corner of this layer, and boom. So this is in. Now we've got middle segments, which is here, and you're going to notice something in our solve of a floppy AI is that when I do my layer by layer portion of this, I've got all but one layer generally that has to come in. The rest of the layers have been reduced by my base cube solve. Turn, turn, turn. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get these up first. R, U, R, I, U, R, to U, R, I, U, R, I, U, R. I'm doing a slightly different method. I oriented these up. And now I just have to get, I've got these two in. So actually these are all in. I just have to do edge swaps. To R, U, to R, U, to R, to U, to R, to U, to R, U, to R, UI, to R. So, all right, very good. There's our baseline cube solved with this, including reduction. Now what about this beast? Well, it's not too different. All I'm going to do now is do my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is now a 5 by 5 reduction. So I'm going to put in the centers exactly the same way. Place this here. So it's just a 5 by 5 solve. Again, still just the smooth moving. Putting my center in. And this comes down here. And just like that, we have the white center. Now we'll do the yellow center. Oop. Find an edge piece first here. Good. And turn. Move this in. Turn, double turn, out it goes. Turn, turn, and turn. Okay. Place this in and move it in. Okay, now I don't have to guess where the centers are. I've got a middle piece to guide. Now we're finally at the last two centers. Turn, and now let's see if I can do a quick sliding U technique. I can't. But this technique of the last two centers is really just a sliding U technique. If you notice, and now this comes in, slide it in actually with an M move, take it out, slide the U to a R move, bring it back with an R, slide the U back to an M, and back. So now all the centers are in. So now we just do reduction, 2 green and reds. So we find the other one. And double turn, turn, down, cross, turn, turn, and turn. So we brought it down to the last two edges where these guys exchange over here. Bring this here, R, Fi, U, Ri, F, bring it back. Okay, everything is reduced except this. And I know it's not reduced because I can see from this middle layer that's revealed to me that it's misplaced. So it's not parity, it's just placement issues, which I fix with a 2R, 2B, 2U, L, 2 up, Ri, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, Li, 2B, 2R. This is then preceded with another embarrassingly slow 3x3 solve. Turn, up and over, getting the corners in. Okay, so we appear to have all the corners. Now as we put the edges in, we're actually putting in the next layers, or at least the seeds to the next layer, so I don't have to. But anyway, as part of the base cube solve, this will assist in not having to place that many layers. So when I eventually do the layer by layer, it's only one layer that I have to do. And I'll show you what I mean. Turn, 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 and down. These are all up. Find two corners that are in. I'm doing this more cuboid style just to vary it a little bit. These are in. Swap these two. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, UI, D, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R, and this moves back. Okay, now it's just a bunch of swapping of edges. 2R, U, 2R, U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. Line this up, and same thing. U, 2R, UI, 2R. Okay, So that baseline cube is solved, so you can see that we're closer to where we need to be.